Hi, and welcome to another one of my what ifs. This, like some others, I mean, not really like some others. If you hear any clicking, I'm just playing a game. Um, okay, this is just a redo of what if Azul Midoriya was Iron Man. You might be wondering, what do you mean? What do you mean a redo and stuff? I mean, it's not that my other what if was bad, okay? Not at all. I don't think it was. I don't think other people think it was. I just think that I could do better. And like I've said in previous what ifs, I constantly really, um, I'm constantly thinking of new ways to make videos, like new ideas and stuff. So for this one, it's going to keep the same premise. It's just that he'll have a different job, or his thing will be different. You know what? How about this? This isn't really read. This is the other one is going to be gone. Okay, you can't find it once I'm done with this video. This is going to be the one that is most known. No, not really most known. But anyway, this is just going to be redo slash remake. Um, so yeah, he's got the same powers. He's able to create things with his quirk, but another part of it is that he's got like 3 types of suits that his quirk can automatically create. Um, he's got no, just 2. He's got the original, like just a regular Iron Man suit. It's going to be red, and it's going to be gold and black and red. Like there's this Iron Man suit that was gold, black, and red. It had gold accents, just like the regular red and gold suit. But instead of the red parts being red, they're going to be black. And the arc reactor, instead of being blue, instead of his eyes and all that stuff being blue, they're going to be red. You might be asking why. This Suzuku isn't really going to be a hero. Like, that's not his job. That's not the job that he sets out to do. But because of the company that he makes, he needs to like bring fear to them so that they actually like listen to him. So that's why he makes it look like that. He's got the same power. He's able to use nanobots. He's able to create nanobots, but it's kind of like a Momo's. Momoyarosu's. She's only able to make that stuff because, you know, like, let's see, she needs to eat to use her to create stuff with her quirk. For Izuku, it's almost the same, but instead of eating things, he has to just wait. It's kind of like a refill thing, like in the game. You need to wait until it's restored to actually use it again. He'll be able to create things that will actually help him farther in the story, but for right now, he's able to make a few, like, 3 drones and at least just the hands and feet of an Iron Man suit. That's it. Now, let's get to the story. Izuku's family is actually a well-known family. They're known for helping people out when they need to. They're a very powerful and respected family due to their ties with the military because they give them weapons and everything. Now, Izuku's father, his quirk allows him to know everything. So he's able to know everything in an instant that he needs to know. And he, like, if he needs to build something, he could just think of what he needed to build, and it just would come to his head, like just plop right in his head. He's able to also, if he touches a computer, he can interface with it so that he could search up stuff just without having to touch the keyboard. Kind of sounds like I'm making Izuku's father more OP than Izuku himself. Excuse me. But anyway, Izuku's mother, she's just incredibly smart. Her quirk's kind of the same. But instead it's it's just the same. Izuku's parents are they're actually the Stark, so it's going to be So Izuku's actually going to be called, trying to think what his name should be. Let's see, his name is actually going to be Midoriya. Like his name is the original last name of him. So he's going to be called Midoriya Stark. Like that's his full name. It sounds cool, so I'm just going with it. Now, throughout Izuku's life, he's known that his parents he knows that his parents have worked with the government. They make weapons for them and all that stuff. They help them out, keeping their country safe and everything, innovating weapons and all that stuff. And so he's not really mad whenever they have to go off to do something. But the one thing that he's kind of, angry about is that they don't really spend time with him. Something that will affect Izuku's life in the future. His parents know that, so they always try and, spend time with him, but because of how long they have work for, like how long they spend at work, they don't really know what Izuku likes anymore, so they, kind of just do regular kid things with him. They bring him to the mall to see if he wants to buy anything, but all Izuku kind of looks at is just magazines of his father and of new inventions. So Izuku's father's like, huh, you got some good taste, son. Izuku's like, I got it from you, Dad. Just like how I kind of like how the business is. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get into it. Izuku's father's like, it's a very dangerous business, Izuku, but I'm sure once you get into it, you'll get used to it, just like how it was for me. Now it was for most of the Starks in our family. And so, for the entire life until Izuku actually awakens his quirk, so that's like another 2 years, or actually, he has his quirk, but they just haven't gone to the doctors yet because Izuku's father's like, how about we do that for your birthday? And it's not Izuku's birthday yet. So, for like the next 2 days, they kind of just go and do stuff. They go shopping, they kind of see what Izuku actually likes and stuff, try and connect with their son that they haven't. And so, for the next, few days, they kind of see that their son is practically like them if they were kids again. And so, even though they do think that he'd be really good with making the weapons and helping out the family business, they think that he should not focus on kind of like the more villainous side, giving people weapons, but more of the heroic side, and start helping people out. They only think of this because they don't actually know what Izuku's quirk is yet, so they can't really they don't really think he's suited for it because they don't know what his quirk is. But the day of Izuku's birthday, they open presents and stuff, and actually no, yeah, they open presents. He gets all the stuff he wants. He's not really a big fan of All Might. He's more of a fan of his dad because of his work. He thinks that he kind of wants to be like this big weapons creator for the world. Kind of just like his dad was, like I said. And so, for the next, let's say, for the next few minutes, they're kind of all, just happy that Izuku was having fun and stuff because they didn't really know if he'd like the presents or not. What he got was kind of like, because Izuku's father kind of profits off of his stuff, and so he's kind of made, because he's pretty smart, he's made a television series about like a few heroes that he's created. So he uses a reference that, so it's kind of like just the Avengers show. He practically just makes the Avengers show, but he uses real life, or real heroes, but he also adds in some of his own things. So uh, like the main character, actually no, never mind. He gave his son a toolbox because he knows his son really likes to build stuff. So he got him a toolbox. His mother got him a new game system and everything like that, kind of, like the regular stuff kids would get. But later that day, after they finish opening up presents and have some cake, they go to the doctors to see what quirk Izuku has. And the thing is, the doctor is having a hard time actually understanding what Izuku's quirk is himself. Because even though Momo Yaoyorozu went to the doctors like earlier in the week, or later in the week. Actually, no, earlier in the week. They haven't really figured out what the quirk is because because Momo and Deku are the only ones who've ever actually had a quirk like that before. And so they're not really sure what they're supposed to do with it. And so, you know, they take some samples of it, they take some diagnostics, they ask if Izuku's dad is alright if they just study Izuku's blood so that they could actually figure out what the quirk is. And Izuku's father's like, of course, yeah, we want to know. And Izuku's like, Dad, when am I going to get my quirk? And his dad's like, buddy, you already got your quirk. The only thing we need to wait now is for, them to come back with the results, because your quirk is very special. So special that they don't even know what it is yet. It's so new that, it could probably revolutionize the world, maybe. And boy, was his dad right, because if he were to look at the future Izuku in this what if, he'd be surprised, stunned, happy, and sad. Like, he'd practically have every emotion. The reason why he'd be sad is because he never wanted Izuku to live the same life as him. He wanted him to have, family. Even though Izuku probably couldn't, he'd want him to have a regular job, probably doing the thing that he wanted him to do in the first place, kind of be this, probably, be part of the government and stuff, not really being in the, you'll just see. And so, for the rest of the day, Izuku kind of just plays with his new toys, he plays with his game and stuff. Everything's kind of, nice. But the next day, Izuku's dad, because I actually, no, it's, Tony Stark, yeah, that's his dad's name, and Izuku's mother's, Pepper Potts, but it's just going to, her name's Pepper Stark, whatever, just to give you some background, whatever, and so, for the next day, like I said, they get, Tony Stark, Izuku's dad, gets a call in like 6 a.m. in the morning, and he's like, what is it? And they're like, sir, we found out what your kid's quirk, and he's like, you did? What is it? And they're like, he's like, what is it? We've waited an entire day, we need to know. Sir, it's a creation quirk. And he's like, a creation quirk? What type? I mean, he's like, creation quirk? There's never actually been a creation quirk. What type of creation quirk is it? And they're like, well, two things, sir. Another creation quirk has actually shown up in Momo Yaoyorozu. The other thing is, her quirk allows her to create very simple things, like if you were to create a cannon, it'd look like a medieval cannon and stuff. Izuku's quirk, on the other hand, he can create delicate pieces of machinery with this quirk. His quirk allows him to create nanobots, pretty much. And he's like, nanobots? not even I've been able to figure out a way to make those. And they're like, yeah, sir, I'm pretty sure your son is going to revolutionize the world with his quirk. If he goes into the business that you were in, sir, there's no doubt that, he's going to make a difference. He's going to either help or destroy the world, but if you were to help him, unlock his quirk's true potential, and get some help from other heroes and stuff, um, you know, he might be able to go down the right path of being a hero. He might, instead of taking up the life of, making weapons and stuff, like, you don't want him to, he could probably become a hero. So, yeah, just think over it and stuff. We'll get back to you the next day, and ask for your answer. And he's like, will do. And so they call back the next day after he talks to, it's just Inko Midoriya and Tony Stark. How about that? It's easier for me to say Inko Midoriya. And so, he goes like, who was that? And he's like, it was just one of the scientists. Izuku's quirk is incredible, honey. How so? He's got a nanobot creation quirk. And she's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, it allows him to create stuff from nanobots that spawn out of his hands and stuff. They didn't really say where they come from, but I can practically assure you that they might just come from his hands. And they will. They will come from his hand, like, mostly just from his arms. And so the next day, the doctor calls back asking, okay, Mr. Midoriya, I'm calling back to see what you decided on. And he's like, well, here's the thing. We want him to be a hero. We do assure you that we want him to be a hero. But at the same time, his power could really help us in the business, allowing us to create things way faster. And with his power, he could create something so that machines could have a power like his and create stuff. And they're like, sir, are you trying to profit off your kid? And he's like, no, my son has been wanting to join the family company ever since he found out about our company. And that wasn't that long ago. About at the age of 3. Our kid is pretty smart. And he's like, I think we all knew that, sir. I mean, he is your kid, so. And so, for the next few years, after telling Izuku what his quirk is, they start training him to use his quirk, allowing him to create more nanobots with a lot less energy in his body and with a lot less time to wait for them to refill, or for his energy to refill. And so, one day something happens. A villain attack strikes one of Izuku's dad's facilities, and so he goes there to just make sure everything's alright. And everything wasn't alright. It was actually a ruse to get Izuku's dad there so that they could kill him, and then they wanted to go after his wife because his wife was in the car with Izuku. And so after they kill Izuku, they pick up his phone and speed dial Inko Midoriya. And they're like, we just killed your husband. Come in here now without your son because we have no need for him. And we will end you swiftly. Now, Inko, thinking that they're bluffing and that they actually didn't kill Tony, says, actually no, where was he? yeah, Tony, whatever, says, "You're bluffing. You didn't kill him." And they're like, "Really? How about you come in and see?" Now, for some reason, she thinks because of her quirk that she could just make them float so that she won't get hurt. Yeah, no, that was wrong. She goes over thinking that, oh, I'll just be able to, get away if there is danger. And so she goes in there, looking around for her husband, not finding him, but more or less just his dismembered body, or his dismembered head. Actually, no. She finds him, but I wouldn't say in the best of conditions. He's cut in half. Somehow he's alive, and with his last few dying words, he tells her, "You better make sure Zuko's alright. Because if he isn't, then we're screwed." And she says, "Don't worry, I'll make sure he's alright." And so in the next part, we'll kind of discover what happens after. And so yeah, that's all in the next part. This is kind of just part one, giving you the story of how Zuko lost his parents, really. So yeah, see y'all in part two, and goodbye.